Hi everyone, welcome to Quarantine Scrapbooking. This is Scrappy Kathy McElfresh, otherwise known as Scrappy Kathy. And I'm going to do a very quick page, kind of documenting absolutely the only place that my husband and I go out to anymore, which is a 2-block walk down to the neighborhood swimming pool. And there's generally no one in it. And if they do, they're very respectful and keep their distance. I have a couple photos here. It's two versions of the same photo, and I'll see where to put those. But the paper I'm using is a very precious paper to me. I have never known what I was going to do with it. It's by Basic Gray. It's from the Obscure collection, which had a lot of these kind of obscure type patterns on it. And this particular page, which I love, and as I was looking through, it was my first choice to go with today. And oddly enough, the name of this pattern in the Obscure collection is Isolate. So how cool is that? I think it was meant to be used for a pandemic quarantine kind of page. So what I've done ahead of time, like I said, this paper is so vibrant and busy, it's going to do most of the work for me. I thought I would do just, I've got a piece of paper here that I had enough of to back both photos, and I thought I'd back the color one on the orange side and the black and white one on the blue side, and then I thought I'd do these torn bits the opposite sides. And I thought right here in the middle of this sunburst would be a good place to place that photo. I'm going to back it with some foam. I'm going to glue it down and then back it with foam. I'm working from using another challenge. I have backed my photo on white cardstock, which I would say I always do it, but let's say I usually do it. I do sometimes matte photos with pattern paper. One of my favorite pattern papers to matte a photo with is a black and white diagonal stripe, because that kind of goes with anything. So let me put that. I really don't want to obscure that. I love that little pattern there. Okay, so that's there, and I'm gonna kind of do this. Anyway, I was what I started to tell you, I'm working with also doing the Mind the Scrap Summer Challenge, and this week's rules include torn paper. So I've got a couple bits of torn paper, and it also calls for stamping. So I've got a stamp already mounted on my block. I thought, since this is this kind of illustrates the social distancing that's occurring at the pool at the time, I thought I'd use some arrows to indicate distance or direction. I hate covering that up, but I think I'll do it anyway. So for that challenge, I'm doing, well, yeah, this is good. It requires 2 photos, which I've got, stamping, doodling, die cuts, cut files, and such like, and torn paper. So I've got the torn paper and the 2 photos so far. Doodling I thought I would do there's the back of this graphic 45 paper that I die cut some arrows out of. I'm gonna stamp arrows, and I've got some die cut arrows. Burnish that to get it down under there. And I've got a bit of journaling that I thought I'd also pop up on foam, and I thought I'd and as you can see, I only had small enough bits, so I've got I backed it this way so that it's orange on the bottom and blue on the top. So was not intentional, but it kind of looks cool, I think. Let me kind of let that bridge the two photos. Pull this one up a little bit to get that under there, and it can go the corner there. Okay, now I've got a Bramble Fox perspective title piece, and this is appropriately called Right Now because we just got back from the pool, and I thought I'd put this on. I have those of you who haven't followed me for a while need to know that I have a bad habit of doing a lot of embellishing and leaving myself no room for either a title or journaling. So I put the journaling on first. I'm putting the title on second. Let me get a little bit of wet glue, and I'm using my favorite wet glue in the civilized universe. It's Nouveau, and it's well worn. Okay, there we go. And it's got little parentheses which kind of work a little bit like arrows. But I wanted to see where the arrows might go. I've got this one that I die cut out of just a scrap, and I love the shape of the arrow, but the color blue, well, it goes with that. So I'm going to use it as is, and I'm going to prop it up. My thinner arrows, I can't do this, but this one, I can put a triangular piece of foam tape right there, and a rectangular piece right on the solid side of the arrow. I like creating a look of shadowing, so I really like the dimension. And to put that there, and that kind of, actually, I'm going to take it right back up because I don't want that dimension when I'm trying to get my stamp block to work. So I'm going to go for black. Kind of get it right there. Okay. That's exactly the same type of arrow as this one. And of course I've got my adhesive moved around there. Okay, so I'm going to move it out a little bit, and then we'll see what else we've got. I have a pair of sunglasses here, but first, before I do anything with the sunglasses, I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe right down there as part of that cluster. Let me get another black arrow stamped, and I'm gonna go kind of right out here. Okay, and I have this one, which I think I'll just put down flat with glue. Now it's kind of pretty on that side, but I think I'll go with the yellow. That's a graphic 45 paper that I used on a layout last night, and I like to use scraps from recent projects on my pages. Okay, I thought I had a couple. Okay, I have a little die cut rick-rack zigzag kind of a thing, cut again out of that graphic 45 paper. That might kind of look cool there. So I'm going to use that actually on the pattern side, not the yellow. And I used a die here that came from Bramble Fox, who made this acrylic title piece called Perspective because it's made from a material called Perspex. Okay, so I've made this flower, and I've created another one here, and then I'll draw a third because I like to have that. But in the meantime, I'm going to do something with these glasses. I will put this is a pop dot, and this actually I unearthed while sweeping the floors. It fell off of a layout. I don't know which layout, and I'm not going to go back hunting for that layout. So there's a layout in my album that's missing this perfect little pair of sunglasses. And it'll have to stay that way. Okay, I'm going to do this and put this, kind of layer this under here, and let me draw my next little flower over here, maybe. Nothing too sophisticated here. Something with some a center. Let me get this cut out, and then I'll use it. I ought to try drawing a flower on one of the kind of Bohemian Bazaar image on the other side. I'm gonna look at that and see what I think. Let me get this maybe tucked in under that one. This is a perfectly matching, obviously different companies, but the yellow on this polka dot perfectly matches the yellow here in the basic gray pattern. Okay, I've got that one. I'll have to see if I can find another one of these, because drawing a flower using that as the center would have been cool. But I don't have enough on that piece. Well, let's find my, let's get my other little flower here. I'm almost finished with this, I think. I didn't want to overload it with embellishments because there's so much to look at on the paper. And I like using a photo like this that really isn't too exciting a photo, but which does kind of tell something of a story. The lifeguard that's sitting there on the chair was the only other human in the inside the fence of the pool. Okay, so there are my 3 little doodled flowers. I have some rub-ons. Again, not necessary, but I kind of like this little geotag, and it's got an arrow there, so I'll use both of those. Maybe do that one right there. Let me move it so that it's straight. Rub that in. I have already scrapped 1,000,000 photos of the quarantine graduation that my oldest granddaughter went through. She's, I don't know which side that's on. I thought I might like it. Maybe right there is good. I think that's the sticky side down there. And I've done quite a few about, with the story being that cooking more, and recently our board of directors for the neighborhood really did not want to open the pool because of liability issues in case someone contracts the virus and then decides to sue. So I have 3 arrows here, 2 here, which suits me just fine. I'm going to do a grouping of enamel dots over here where this little zigzag thingy has ended up above that photo, and I can kind of insert that one a little bit under the photo there, which is fine with me. I'm going to put another little, let's see, I'm going to use a medium-sized brown one. Whoops, here. And then one of my large white ones there. And then I thought I'd do another up here. This gives something up at the top of that, something like a tab or a tag or a label or something. This one, that design is already in the pattern paper, so I really, really love this pattern paper, and I can't believe I finally used some of it, or used it, my only sheet of it. Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching. I encourage you to, even though some of the stories may be sad or difficult or frustrating or all of the above, I encourage you to scrap those stories, because when all this is past, you can kind of look back and see what was going on, what you were thinking, how your daily life had changed, and so forth. So my journaling here says, our only outings these days are to the neighborhood pool, and most days it's quite empty. We walk the 2 blocks, waving at neighbors from afar, and walk the far end of the pool, meaning, you know, like walk the far end where there's a nice strip of shade. Sometimes there's even a lifeguard. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to check out all the other very talented ladies who have joined in on this this hop. And I should have a list of those in my description box, and possibly when I post on Instagram. So again, thank you and bye.